Okay, so this all brings us up to the new emphasis on academic writing. So I just wanted to kind of set the stage here, academic writing-wise, then maybe take a little bit of a break, and then go into the nitty-gritty of how in the world do we start teaching this. Okay, so you all tell, I'm not even going to, what's the main difference between GED 2002 writing prompts and GED 2014 writing prompts? And you've said a little bit at the beginning, but just if you were telling someone who didn't know anything about the GED, what would you say? It's like GED 22, you were expected to do X, bum bum. Yeah, Elaine.
The 2002 test was using their own experience.
Great.
So I think they were pretty comfortable talking about themselves and drawing on from what they know, and it was narrative, so they didn't need to do any close analytical writing. But now you're looking at 2 or more texts and saying this one is better because it has this, this, and this. The other one is missing something.
Great.
So it's a lot more drawing from the text, not using what you know.
Right, not use personal. Okay, great. And how about the grading? Does anyone, what would say is the main difference between grading or the scoring? What's being looked at? And it kind of hits on what Claire just said too, but in terms of, or in the teaching, maybe that's it. How would you approach, for those of you who have taught the 2002 GED, how did you approach that? If anyone has. Has anyone taught that narrative prompt? Like what kind of, what were the things that you relied on to do that?
What I did is I created like a format for them, basically wrote it out for them, just differentiated, wrote it out for them, and like the introduction, and then had the 2 body paragraphs where they analyzed both sides, and then in the conclusion. And so, I mean, in turn, and also just taught them, like, you know, take things from the text, and I use
So you're talking about the current,
oh yeah,
right?
2014.
Okay,
Did I say something different? I apologize.
Well, no, which is great, and we're going to get to that in a second. Did you teach the 2002 version?
Oh yeah, yes, ma'am.
How did you approach that?
Basically, I mean, like she had already she previously stated, it was you know, basically like your experience, and take these things like and draw your experiences and basically just write about it. I mean, it really wasn't too hard.
And that 5-paragraph.
Yeah, 5-paragraph format.
Okay, that's kind of that highlight. Yeah. Claire.
I did a lot of webbing. This is the topic, you know, talk about your family. This is all the stuff about your family. Now put it into a paragraph. So that was a nice visual for them, and it was pretty easy. Whereas this, you can't really do that.
Okay, so you're talking graphic organizers kind of.
Does everyone know what she's talking about? So basically, you draw circles and then lines to different topics, right? Okay.
And then
I hate to keep beating on this, but in the science, there was no writing prompts
it's an
before,
excellent point. Yeah.
and now there is. And as the science teacher,
studies.
I now have to teach writing, and that is a big change.
It's a huge change, yeah, as well in the social studies too. Great.
I use a graphic organizer, doing the introduction, thesis statement, 3 sub-themes, and then 3 paragraphs following the sub-themes of the thesis statement, conclusion, and closing.
Okay.
So a graphic organizer, do you draw like rectangles?
Exactly.
Okay.
Rectangles, yeah.
And you have them plug in something for each.
The first step was for the students to understand the structure of the essay.
And this was for the last one, right?
The last one.
Yes, okay.
The structure of the essay, has to have an introduction, 3 paragraphs with the sub-themes, and the closing. And then, examples of the essay, the good ones and the bad ones, just to have plenty of resources at that time.
Right.
For essay grade of 4 or grade of 1.
Yeah.
And then students do their own writing, and then they compare each other's, and then it was easy to do.
Okay.
Now.
Great. Okay. So the interesting thing too, Hirfan, is that what you really were teaching, right, for the GED before was the 5-paragraph theme, which was good and bad. It was good in the sense that it was pretty straightforward, and it was a frame that you kind of could plug in things. The bad part about that is that it's when college instructors, if we were really using the GED to prepare students for college, which as we can see it was growing, college instructors were just, no, this is not how you do it, and they had to kind of start from scratch, which is an old story in academic writing development, right? It's how K through 12 teaches writing, is not how college teaches writing, and there's kind of this, again, this war, well, not to put it that strongly, but there's a disagreement about how to do it. And so that also leaves GED teachers I'll take myself, for example. I was teaching a 5-paragraph essay so that they could pass a test, knowing, though, that it wasn't going to prepare them for college. So I was also trying to, I would just lay it out there, say, this is the kind of writing, if you need to pass the test, this is what you do. For college, this is what you do. And I was kind of double teaching. So in a way, please go ahead.
I just have to ask something.
Yeah.
I have one students graduated in my school for the past GED, and now they are in college.
Yeah.
And they come and talk to me, and they are doing what we are doing now in the new GED.
Yes, exactly.
Writing is critical thinking,
Yeah.
argumentative side, textual evidence, and so on. So it's just to see, how much higher now it is.
Exactly. Yeah. Are they struggling with it, or they?
Very much so.
They're
Yeah,
struggling
they
with it.
come to
Okay.
school.
Okay. No, so that's an excellent point, Daquana.
Yeah, I just like to add that even though I know a lot of the negative feelings around this new testing and the new way of writing and things of that nature and the gap that we see for our students, and I understand why that's there. When we hear things like that, it tells us why it's happening, and I think that that's something to keep in mind for our students. And some of them aren't going to go to college. Maybe they will be a manager at Best Buy, but guess what? Maybe they're going to be the manager at Best Buy that writes the best and can then educate other people on how that is. So I think that when we have those kinds of conversations, and at Academy of Hope, we have the same thing, students going into UDC, staying at the development level several times, spending all that money with financial aid. One way to think about that is that if we really do get our students to write like this, and that's what is expected in the college, how great will it be for, once again, the GED to either be equivalent or better than the high schools, because that's another piece is that there's also the high school students going into UDC who's also at the development level.
Yeah.
So how great would it be for us to be able to say on a consistent basis, UDC, community college, PG County, wherever our students are going, bank on our students, come and recruit our students the way you go and recruit at the high school. So I just think that that's one way. It's going to take a while.
Right.
But it's always taken a while if we're really being truthful, right? And like you said, from Next Step, we have pushed our highest level students out at the GED 2002. So it will be some work, but in the long term, I think it's worth it. And I think that that's one way that we can start also talking to our students around it as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And
Just a very short comment.
please. Yeah.
I think I don't think it's a criticism about the new GED. I love it. It's a good challenge. I love
Yeah.
doing that. It's
Right.
breaking my brain how to do it. but it's just that we don't have the resources in Spanish.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, not in English, but in Spanish. So it's lots of time
Yeah.
consuming, translating, from English into Spanish and try to, adapt that to the student's level.
Right.
Is
Yeah.
a lot of work. So hopefully
Yeah.
we
Yeah.
get something soon.
Yeah.
Market.
And so you all have made just excellent points. Is that it's really looking to see that I am excited about the new GED in many of those ways, and also because of academic writing, I think it's the most educationally. I think it is the most empowering thing, and it really does get at the depth of knowledge of that number 4, right? That you really can't do without the other assessment tests. You really can't get at the depth of knowledge beyond 3, except for writing. Because that is something that's empowering, because it's also not telling students what to think, right? And that's education. It's letting they all have ideas. It's about developing the academic language and learning the structure so that they can get those ideas out there and contribute to the world, and change the world, which is what ideally what you want adult literacy to do, right? Is you want that education to empower. It's just there's a big gap there, and instead of frustrated, it's going to be. I'm trying to figure out though how to make it feel empowering to students in a way that's real and authentic, and that they really can contribute to a greater conversation, which is what academic writing is about.